within it
Jesus.
plays within an existing trend. So more or less just accelerates that trend. But very yeah, right. These things are like you're being watched by the FBI.
Nuts.
So so yeah. So that's what we saw last week. We're gonna get into some pairs this week. We got almost 20 people in here. I'm gonna start sharing and kind of just dive into what we got this week. Okay,
Yes,
so let's
sir.
jump over to the charts. A lot going on here this week. Okay, so here we are on DXY, guys. We always start off on DXY, and we don't trade this. It's just the dollar index. It's showing us the strength of the dollar and what's going on. So, because the dollar has such an influence on the rest of the market, makes up for 80% of all trades, considered the reserve currency. So, as you see a lot of movement coming out of the dollar, you'll see a lot of the market kind of follow, with that. Whether it's, you know, inversely correlated or similarly correlated, you're going to see reactions as the dollar is moving dramatically, especially like we saw on Friday. Right. So, that's why we always stop here first. We should get an idea of what the dollar's been doing, and then we move on to our other pairs and start marking up ideas that way. So the process I'm going to take you guys through is called top-down analysis. So I'm just going to highlight the daily time frame, show you guys the trend, drop to the 4 hour, talk a little bit more about the trade ideas that are possible and what ideally we're looking for the week ahead. Okay, because typically, you know, if we have a significant trend here on the higher time frame, we're probably trying to ride that out on the 4 hour as well, just trying to enter or spot areas where we could have higher probability trades on the 4 hour. And then the rest of the process follows, where we'll drop down to the 30 minute, 1 hour, start looking for more confirmations and entries at that point. Okay, so we're still in the daily here. This is just the dollar is looking very bearish. We can spot that this key zone right here at our monthly 91.5 was kind of the pivot area, right? So as price action was above it, we were more bullish. This was very significant level of support, and as price action moved through it, we were generally bearish. Okay, so we did see a move through it over here, broke support, tested as resistance, and then started pushing lower, but ultimately pushed back above the monthly, gave us a retest, and this was pretty much a larger pullback in a very apparent downtrend. So this is just a lower high, pretty much, compared to these lower highs back here, and so on and so on. So this was just a deeper pullback, rejected from there, pushed back through the monthly, and then we got some lower highs. So we're definitely bearish. We're below the zone. We're looking to continue with that trend, but we have to wait. We have to drop to the 4 hour and now see, what price action is doing on this time frame. Okay, so from here, we're pretty much marking up bullish and bearish scenarios, the two most likely options for the week ahead. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. So the most likely is this bluish trade path, and that's with the trend, right? So the daily's bearish, the 4 hour still bearish. We had a pretty big pullback, and then price action fell back below the range. So this is the most likely, right? We'll get a little retest of resistance here, maybe a lower high formation. That would be ideal. And then, look for bearish variations to confirm this as bearish back on the 4 hour. So we were looking to target back down towards 89.7, and then we'd reanalyze and kind of apply the same method, looking for a breaker bounce down near the bottom. Okay, so definitely looking bearish for the dollar for this week, especially as we're back within this range, right? So what needs to happen with the dollar here for us to say, okay, it's definitely bullish. The 4 hours in a bullish trend, and we're looking to go to new highs. So ideally, a higher low above 92.5 and above the 200 EMA. At this point, for us to go for this to go bullish here, and for us to really consider it bullish on the 4 hour, it really needs to show us a lot, right? We need a good amount of bullish volume. We really need confirmation that we broke out of this range and that it's going to continue with a 4 hour trend. So you need to see higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. That's part of those are the characteristics of a bullish trend, and we're just not seeing that now, not yet anyway. We have the higher high. Where's the higher low? And then you obviously want that above support, above resistance, tested as support. So that's why this is the secondary option, less likely, but this is what we got for DXY this week. Looking super bearish. So we'll see how it plays out. Let's jump over to AU, see what's going on with this pair. We're going to do the same thing, daily time frame. So we're just gathering the trend. Overall, very bullish, right? Higher highs, higher lows, pretty straightforward. Nothing too complicated about that. But there is one thing that I want to bring your attention to, and that's this range that we're seeing. Clear resistance at 0.78, clear support at 0.76. which is also our weekly zone. So again, a lot of interest in this area. Definitely a big zone to watch out for. So clear range. Let's go to the 4-hour now and see if this is going to continue with the daily bullish trend or if it's going to start breaking out of this range and looking more bearish, right? So let's zoom out a little bit. Here we are on the 4-hour. Again, tons and tons of ranging. It's absolutely nuts, to be honest, for AU. You don't see this kind of ranging too often. Just tons of indecision. We had a fake out, came right back down, and then continued ranging. So what's interesting about this is this range looks like it's sloping off a little bit, right? As far as ranges go, this is looking more bearish, right? We're seeing lows here. We saw a lower low here, another lower low here, and then a couple lower highs. So definitely looking bearish on this 4-hour time frame only. But we're still not convinced yet. We're still a few confirmations away from going short on this, but it's looking like this is the most likely option, which is why this trade path is blue. Okay, so we're looking for lower high to form in this area. Just continue what we've been seeing right here in this bit of of a downtrend ish. So we want to see a lower high right here, push lower, and then another lower high, preferably below support. Because even if we do reverse here, it's still technically within the range. So it's not a high probability trade, right? If we saw price action reject right here off resistance and confirm this as a lower high, that would have been entry material, right? We would have been dropping to the 30-minute at that point, looking to get in on some lower time frame confirmations. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. It pushed back up. So now we're left with, this scenario, which is the most ideal. This is going to be the most conservative, the highest probability trade if it were to follow this trade path exactly. Okay, so this is what we're looking at this week. We'll see how it plays out. If this does continue to push up and just continue to fill the range, it continues with this indecision, just look for price action to break kind of the median zone here, which is minor resistance, and just continue to the top. Now, I'm not going to actually recommend a trade on this unless you saw a higher low here. But in that case, it'd be some sort of lower time frame, probably 15-minute, even 30-minute break and retest that we'd be looking to enter on. So I'm not really going to say that's a great conservative entry, more so than just this is, potential for this week ahead. Okay. So we're really just waiting for a break lower or for this range to keep filling, and then we'll reanalyze if price action gets to the top. And then we're looking for the same thing, break and retest or a reversal from that point. So yeah, really can't do much. Sometimes ranges, can be tough if it just takes an immense amount of time, and that's what we're seeing right now. So we'll just be patient. We'll wait on it, but this volume is good, so we'll see if it continues. Maybe we'll get some trades earlier in the week, preferably. So we'll see. That's AU. Let's go on to AJ. A little more clear, a little easier to see structure on this pair. Things are just kind of just playing out a little better. So let's start on the daily. Just gathering the trend from this time frame. Very bullish, as we can see. There is a pretty large ascending pattern here, but it doesn't really matter at this point. It's very bullish. We have that information. So now let's go to the 4-hour. Okay, so there is a pattern here, but again, it's not that crucial because we have zones that are super easy to see, right? We see that we were ranging for a while over here on the left, pretty wide range, good volume. And then we broke through that resistance, and now we formed a new range a little bit tighter in this zone here. So 84.4 support, 85.1 as a resistance. And this is really all we need to look at to kind of understand what the potential is for this pair and where it could go, right? Because once you see a range like this, it's super easy to kind of figure that out. We're waiting for a break higher with a higher low, waiting for a break lower with a lower high. Now, because we know that the daily is, majorly bullish, and, so is the 4-hour pretty much, and all significant time frames, you want to get on the same side as that trend. So we're favoring the bullish outlook here, and we're just looking for a break higher with a higher low. And this would be a great trade. We target prior highs and psychological levels, fib levels. Yeah, this would be a really, really great trade. And the volume's there too, so it's looking pretty good. Hopefully this just has enough oomph to break through, and then we'll be looking at some good long opportunities. Okay, but then, it's super easy to see what has to happen for us to consider shorts. A break lower and out of the range with a retest, preferably a lower high, and then that'd be enough confirmation to start targeting lower, and then we'll target support, and then down towards our weekly 83.25. So yeah, that's the potential for AJ. Pretty clear to see, good volume. Just got to wait on those confirmations, guys. Looking good though. AJ looks nice. So next we got UJ. Again, pretty clear, high volume on this one as well. But let's go to the daily. Recently bullish. Well, as of this year, turn of 2021, this thing started going bullish after a long period of bearishness. So this thing kind of just rocketed. Was very overextended for a while. Finally came back, gave a structure, and then continued with a pretty steady bullish trend. So this time frame is bullish. Let's go to the 4-hour. Also bullish. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Clear characteristics of a bullish trend, makes it easy to see. And that's what I'm using these trend lines for as well, just to highlight this channel. Okay, not really using them that much as supportive resistance, just making it, visually pleasing, I guess you could say. So it's very easy to spot. And, in turn, it makes it very easy to find out the potential for the week. Because we're very bullish, we're looking to continue with that trend. So we're looking to buy, but we're also looking to enter at a higher low in an area of confluence. So in this scenario, we saw a double top off resistance, the 110 handle right there. And now price action's kind of diving, which is perfect because we want to see price action reach this pocket of confluence right where this 200 EMA is. Nice area for a higher low in accordance with this bullish channel. Also, major support 109.15. So this would be perfect. It really would be. And then there's a fib level in there as well. I don't have them drawn right now, but again, just another added confirmation. And then this would be perfect if it started reversing here. We'll get an MA cross. At that point, we drop to the 30-minute and start looking to enter long on bullish confirmations. So this is really a great textbook kind of trade idea. So if it does follow this, would be perfect. Definitely a high probability trade. Stop loss would be relatively tight and well protected. And then we'd have a pretty good target up to 110 and potentially higher. So this is the highest probability trade path for this week. Definitely looking bullish. We'll see how it plays out. But for us to consider shorts, literally a break of 109.15 with a retest confirm lower high would be enough to enter short. And then we're targeting lower support levels as price action falls back down. So these are the two trade paths for you guys. Both look pretty good. I mean, whichever way this goes, we'll be ready. We'll be definitely ready to capitalize with a good trade. So that's UJ. Let's move on to EJ. This one's kind of falling out of a bit of a channel here, but let's go to the daily for a minute and then we'll get into it on the 4-hour. So again, very bullish, very, very bullish. The most significant level that we're near is this weekly right at 132.75. Okay, right here. So price action is falling back to that now, but overall we're bullish. So let's get a closer look now that we have that trend in mind. 4-hour again, super bullish, pretty far away from the 200 EMA, so it's got a lot of momentum behind it. This thing's really been chugging for a while. Clear defined channel right here, and then price action started kind of dying out. You could just see the indecision. It literally shot to a high and then just flatlined, right, and then started sloping off. So it is pulling back a little bit now. The 4-hour is looking bearish, but keep in mind we're still very much bullish as long as we're above this weekly, for the most part. So 132.75, we're still above that. So for this week, I'm honestly expecting price action to fall to that zone and then reverse, but I'll reanalyze once we get to that point. But for the week ahead, this is the likely scenario. It's retesting now. It's probably going to continue lower, and then we'll reanalyze at that point. But let's say it doesn't drop. Let's say it just happened to do a little fake out right here. Instead of pushes right back through the MAs, gives us a higher low, and then some bullish variations. You can enter long on that, especially if you're catching it on the 30-minute right as it's retesting and reversing. That would be a beautiful entry. Just look for that higher low above 133.35, and then we would target prior highs, negative 27 fib level, and potentially higher. But yeah, so you really got to wait on this one. This is that kind of key level where it's either gonna bounce or it's gonna push back up. And this is why you have to stay patient. We're not gonna get ahead of ourselves and just start shorting because we saw that we broke support and now we're just retesting. You really want to be patient, wait for the right confirmations, and then I promise you'll thank yourself later. You always got to wait for the proper confirmations, proper closure, because you'll just catch yourself. Because this is an emotionally triggering move, right? We're pushing lower, we're breaking support. It's looking like it's retesting. If you already had a short bias on this, people are trying to short right now. You know, so if this were to pop up, you'd be caught on the wrong side of the market. So that's why you just got to be super, super careful. Wait for that confirmation of a lower high to really confirm that change of trend. Okay, so that's where we're at on EJ. Let's move over to gold, almighty gold, which is looking pretty interesting too, actually. I think we're gonna have a pretty good rally this week up to 1930, but we'll cover that in a second. So on this time frame, we are bullish. We were bearish for a while. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high. Got a double bottom. We broke the lower high, and then we started going bullish. Then we see higher highs, higher lows, and so on and so on. So that's how I'm determining this as bullish. We saw that transition happen down here. Okay, so we've been bullish for a little while, mid-May, and it's been forming pretty good structure. You know, we're blowing through these resistance levels, testing as support, blowing through resistance again, more significant level, testing as support. So it's moving pretty well, moving pretty good. So definitely bullish on the 4 hour. Let's go to on the daily. Let's go to the 4 hour now and see what's going on here. So again, super bullish. It is a bit far away from. Well, it actually did form structure here. Okay, so we were overextended for a little bit up here, but it came back down, hit the 38.2, gave us a nice higher low. So this is honestly perfect. This is a great sign. So we're seeing a higher low now. The MA cross is still yet to happen. We're at minor resistance. So ideally, I want to see price action kind of hang around this area for a little longer. Maybe give us a pattern, maybe give us a higher low, and then show us the conviction and make the move higher, where it would then give us an MA cross, higher low, would break resistance, give us bullish variations. There's tons of confirmation, plenty enough to then enter on, and then target the negative 27 and keep resistance at 1930. So I'm expecting a pretty big move on gold this week, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Definitely the likely trade scenario right here, but let's say we get absolute bullish failure, buyer's failure, and this thing just breaks back through 1875. Give us a lower high, and then we could start shorting. But only then. Literally, I'm not considering shorts on gold at all unless I see that. Okay, because that says to me then, okay, we have a clear transition of a key level, also psychological level, 1875. And then look, these are two areas where higher lows were formed. If price action breaks through that, it's got momentum, man. And then if we see it retest and then start pushing lower, so we get like 3 bearish candles in a row, gives us that bearish variation as a confirmation. Huge. That'd be enough for me, honestly, to short, and then just target the next level, 1825 at our weekly, and then reanalyze once that plays out. Okay, but yeah, honestly, whichever way it goes, we'll be ready. So normally we don't take trades on Sunday. You know, it's pretty normal. The markets are just opening. You need a little bit of time for them to gain some momentum, and we'll usually see that, you know, with the London and New York session, especially in the overlap. So tomorrow morning. More so. Okay, that's where we'll probably see a lot of these start to move. We'll start to get a better idea as to which trade ideas are actually going to play out and which ones we can start taking trades on. All right, so that's all I got for you guys. Quick recap: covered DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ, and gold. And you guys can actually refer to this. These are pretty much interactive charts, and that means you can come into Discord here. Actually, let me get rid of that. You can come into Discord here and click any of these, any single one of them throughout the week. They're saved. And you hit the play button and you'll see how it played out. Usually they're pretty accurate. I mean, we'll do anywhere like 60, 70% are accurate a week. So definitely a useful tool if you kind of want to use these as a guide. But yeah, I mean, that's what they're free every week. We drop these in Discord and Telegram for you guys. So yeah, utilize them if you want. You know, just another useful tool for you guys, especially if you're using it with these Sunday market webinars. So super good stuff. So I'm gonna pass it off to Angelo. Thank you guys. Yeah, hopefully you guys got some value out of it for sure.
Good stuff, dude. Good stuff. Let's go here. So like Nick said, we're gonna try to be a little cautious Sunday night. Not many trades are going out. For everyone that's in the rapid signals this week, that's not going to start until tomorrow morning. So first trades on that will go out 8 a.m. in the morning. So we're going to hold off on any trades for tonight. I'm going to cover most of the major pairs here. And I was just taking a look at DXY. This thing looks pretty much dead similar to friggin' Yusuf out here. We get this little impulse kind of move. We kind of broke down with structure. So I'm kind of looking for this to find support here and to move higher. I mean, as we come up to the weekly time frame, we're also coming down here, seeing dojis, a couple doji candles in a row. So we're slowing up at the support level. And then daily time frame, same thing, was in a bearish trend, forming support, breaking support, testing resistance, all the way down here. Until this point, we're actually breaking the resistance finally, and now we're retesting it as support. So I'm looking for DXY actually to potentially push up. Yeah, we're gonna be so Diego was really delivering. So we're gonna have a bunch of people working on the signals channel. There's a bunch of different providers that are helping us out. So yeah, there will be a ton of signals going out. You guys saw the before and afters from this past week. So we're going to continue to keep that updated. But let's bump over to USEF and let's just start all the way on the higher time frame. We'll do some top-down analysis. I just have my charts really cleaned up here. On the weekly, I always just do kind of a one look, where is price relative to structure right now? As we can see, price has been bearish ever since April. So it's been bearish for a few months now. But we're all the way now at the bottom of this push. We're near the support level. We're not quite there yet. The reason I marked this up is we have this resistance here and the support here. So this is that nice overlapping zone that if price comes into, we'll most likely find support at. But this is where we're currently at. Last week formed this doji. So again, that's telling me price could potentially reverse. Coming down to this daily time frame, just looking at it like this, we had broken support, tested as resistance, broke support, retested it, broke support, retest, broke support here, retested it right here, and then this failed. So this is starting to flip a little bit. We had the break of this resistance right here, break of this level, and now we just came back, failed to engulf back below. So I'm looking for this thing to actually shoot up. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, I've got this trend line marked. The trend was bearish ever since April. Now it's actually reversing, starting to break out. And this is the area to long from. So this is the trade idea. I mean, you realistically could enter now. It is a swing trade. The confirmations I'm looking at is we have the support level, which is that previous demand zone. We've got, if we were to fib this, we've got this 61.8, 70% level. So we've got this nice fib level here that we're rejecting. And then we have this price action. So we've got a few wicks here, nothing too crazy. That's why we could be a little bit more patient on it. We've got some rejection, some impulses down that are failing. So it's slowing up. So I'm going to look to take an entry here. My stops are going to be below this level, or you could wait for it to actually engulf. And then first target is going to be here. Second target's going to be there. And then third target's going to be the second Fibonacci extension level. So this is going to be a trade I'll just keep live throughout the week, and we'll just follow up with it, as I did last week with the other analysis. But those are all my confirmations, how I broke it down from the higher time frame, and then like actually what the trade idea is, why the entry is there, everything like that. If we wanted to get really into it, we could come all the way down to the 30-minute, wait for that engulfing, which would mean the resistance would break. But it's looking good. So that's USEF. Let's bump over to EU actually next. This is another one that I've been looking at. So weekly time frame, we'll bump all the way up to the monthly. Monthly time frame, we're at a serious level here. So we had support here, support here, support here, flip to resistance right there. And then we came back, already retested it, but now we're shooting back up kind of into that resistance level. So the buyers are maintaining control, at least for this push right here. Coming down to the weekly, to me, this just looks extremely weak. We've got this bullish push, and then look at the top here. We've got this doji candle, this like spinning top candle, two of them at the resistance. So I am expecting this thing to push down. At least this is what the analysis is kind of telling me. Looking at the daily, let's just look at structure. As soon as we broke here, it was in an uptrend. Then we broke this resistance, broke this level, continue to maintain, broke this level, And then we had this minor higher low formed, which actually broke. So this higher low broke support right here, retested it, dropped. Then we just broke above there, boom, higher low, pushed up. We have this higher low here, pushed up, this higher low here. So this is what I'm looking at as kind of my main level. This level broke, and then coming down to the 4-hour, we can clearly see all that consolidation. So there's a lot of volume. That's certainly a price that buyers and sellers were fighting at for quite some time. So as price kind of comes back into that area, that's where we're looking to really take shorts. I've got the idea already marked up. This is the early entry, pretty much right here. But as you can see on the 4-hour, the trend has already shifted. So the trend has already shifted to the downside. So we were in this uptrend. I have this marked out with the path tool. And then we broke this support level right here. We were retesting it right now. So we can either enter now or we can wait for a little bit more rejection. But this is looking really good. We had that 4-hour support break, already wicked that level. We can put stops either there or more conservatively. We can actually have them a little bit higher. We can put them up there. But I do expect price to retest this area potentially again. We already retested it once. We're holding here. So those are like the two kind of top trading ideas I have for the week. EU and USEF orders are ready, on these two, and they already line up really well. And then let's take a look. Ucas, very similar. NU, we had that nice sell last week. So I'm anticipating kind of USEF and EU to react similar to how NU reacted last week. We broke support here, retested as resistance, and then this thing fell over 100 pips, 150 pips. So this thing, fell pretty dramatically, and it's just because we had those multiple confirmations. If we come up to the weekly, we can clearly see this weekly level of resistance, this monthly that I have marked, but we have this high point that was wicked, then the body candles closed at this level, and then it was retested again. And if we look back, this level was tested over and over and over again. So this is a serious level of resistance up here. And that's why right now what I'm mapping out is just two scenarios, both seller's bias in mind. Ideally, we're looking for price to come back up into the resistance to get a very high probability short from the level. But if price does just move down immediately, I won't take a short until this breaks the support, because then we're starting to get into like the support level. So I'm not going to short it at the support. I'm going to short it at the break and the retest of the support. So coming to the 4-hour, this is a more immediate trade idea. If you guys are feeling a little bit more risky, you've got this support level that had held, and then it broke on the 4-hour. That was that move last week. Now we're coming back up into this level. So this would be a nice trade idea right here. We could even bring on the fib levels, and we can clearly see prices coming up. This would be at that 61.8 area right there. I would probably throw stops around here. That way we have a 2-to-1 risk reward. We're above the 78.6. We're above resistance. We're above resistance. We have some confirmations there. So yeah, this is the trade idea on NU. Again, if this gets invalidated and price does come all the way up here, then we're just shorting it again once price does make it to that level. So that's the third trade idea that I have for the week. We got a question here in the chat. What's up, Alfonso? Hope everything's going well with you, bro. And anyone on the call, if you guys have questions or if you want any pair in particular covered for this week, I can go ahead and do a top-down analysis. So just post up in the chat. The session's, meant for you guys. So whatever you guys want to cover, we can go over it. And at the end, we can do any questions too. So this is NU. Let's do GU here. Let's go up to the weekly, or let's start on the monthly. So we're always going to start on the monthly time frame. I'm just going to clear this chart entirely, and we're just going to kind of do it right from the top all the way down. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and I can very immediately see that we have a zone going all the way back to fucking 2000. We have this support level right here. that was formed. And look how this was respected. Not once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, acted as resistance. And now we're back in that area. I'm going to actually just push this up a little bit more. And this is just a zone. This is just an area that price is within. You know, we can't possibly with this method kind of map out like exact volume, exact areas where this kind of rectangle should be. So we're just gonna base it on this area. This is clearly an area of support or resistance. We can come on the line chart if we want to clear this up a little bit more. So I'm just gonna move this a little bit higher. And the reason why is I'm just seeing support here, and then we have this resistance level. So I just moved it to the peak of that level. And then let's bring this back on. One look on the monthly. As we know, the month just ended for May, very bullish. Price shot up, no wick at the top. But look previously how that went down. We had the same kind of push up into the level, and then look how strong the sellers were. This thing could not move above 1.42. It just had no chance of moving above 1.42. So we're back in that area, and I am expecting it to reject here again. I mean, that's kind of what the confirmations are telling us. Coming down to the weekly, this is also a good sign. We have this wick up here at 1.423, 1.42380 or 1.424, that area. And then we're coming back into that area. We've got these doji or spinning top type candles. So if you guys don't know what these candles are, they're just reversal candles telling us there's buyers and sellers that are indecisive. And that's saying that a trend is potentially shifting on the lower time frame. So if we start to break this down to the daily time frame, we can see all this consolidation at the top here. So price formed this high, had that pullback, then we broke above this level, and we've just been consolidating kind of in this box. So looking at it very closely, what I'm seeing is we had this support level form. It broke, retested it, which solidified that it had broken, broke again, and now we're retesting it again. So on the lower time frame, this has already shifted into a downtrend. If we look at it very closely on the 4-hour, if we kind of don't look left, we're just looking at this immediate kind of trend right here. We had price come up, we formed this like higher low level, came up to a new high, and then this is what I'm talking about. This is now sort of the beginning of a bearish trend, of a downtrend. We have this low form, this lower high, this low, and now we're back at this lower high. So this could be potentially another trade idea for the week. Basically, we have two scenarios here. Either price is going to break this level and we are going to get a higher low, and we are then going to go long. So I'm going to map this out as scenario number 2. And then we have the more highly probable scenario, at least at the moment, is going to be that short. So this would be scenario number 2, price breaks, retest, and then we go long. And then scenario number 1 is that we just kind of get this thing as it's coming up into the resistance, and then we're shorting it back into this low as pretty much the first target there. We'd put stops above here because we know that if price breaks this resistance, guys, we shouldn't be in the trade. You know, we shouldn't be in the trade if price breaks the resistance. We don't want to get too cute with it. Diego said, do you trade on the 4-hour or lower time frame? So I personally trade on the lower time frames now, on the 5-minute at least for the intraday strategy. Me and Nick are both doing 2 different strategies now. We're doing the intraday strategy, the 5-minute, and then we're doing the swing trading strategy as always. So that's what we're highlighting on this call. This call is specifically for the swing trading strategy. It's a tongue twister. The intraday strategy I'll be teaching in the Learn and Earn group. So that's on the live calls that I do in the New York session. I teach them in there, and there's material on it inside of the course, Diego, too, if you are a member. So these are 2 scenarios with GU, guys. So we've got multiple trade ideas out here ready to go. We're going to cover UCAD next, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come up to the weekly time frame, and we're not going to fuck around here. You know, we're not going to get too cute with this one. We've got price at this low. Remember, we're always trying to get in at lower highs on a downtrend and at higher lows in an uptrend. We can clearly see this downtrend for quite some time. Support breaking, retesting, support breaking, retesting over and over. And now we're at this low. So I'm expecting price to really shoot up back to the resistance level. And based on how this is forming all these dojis, this is like pretty much what we're going to see, guys. We've got the daily forming this falling wedge. So we've got price getting squeezed here at the bottom. This is a reversal signal right there. And then coming down to the 4 hour, just kind of mapping this out. Let's just look at the trend very clearly, bearish, forming those lows, lower high, lower low. And then we formed this lower high, retest this low once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And then we just popped above the resistance. So as this low was being tested, lower highs continue to be formed. That's that wedge pattern forming, meaning that the lows are not really eclipsing or making like significant lower lows, but there are lower highs being formed right here. So just telling us that sellers are losing momentum, buyers are trying to push, and then last week at the end, we finally had this kind of break, and now we're getting the retest. So this is the trade idea for UCAD. It's basically the same idea as USEF. It's in a very similar position. If we were to actually like bring out the fibs and fib this one, we could really have the same type of idea here. TP1 is going to be here, TP2 is going to be here, and then TP3 is going to be all the way up there. We can comfortably throw stops in a couple different places. We could either throw stops all the way down here. The risk reward wouldn't be as great if that was the case, or we can be a bit more aggressive, move it up to around this area because it gives us that last support level to respect potentially if it does come down. Now, if price completely just breaks this, we will not be shorting pretty much until this support level is broken. Then I would start to look for shorts. We look for the break and retest. So I'm going to move this over. This would be trade scenario number 2. So I'm going to just redo this real quick. But we're just going to stay patient. This is obviously swing trading. This is the higher time frame. This is using the 4 hour, and we could get down to the lower time frame, look for, you know, more aggressive kind of lower time frame entries on this. But as long as we see that price action on the 4 hour, guys, it's pretty much the lower time frame without looking at it. If you know multiple time frames, you know, you don't even need to go to the lower time frame. If this engulfs, you know the lower time frame broke structure. Like that's what the engulfing means, you know. So if we come down to the lower time frame, we can even kind of map it out. We could say, okay, we have a resistance level here. We have a resistance level here. Let's go back up to the 4 hour. What would that mean? So if this engulfs, that first resistance level becomes obliterated. And then if we move higher, say we miss the trade and price ends up here, we can then get in on a retest of this level because this is another resistance level on the lower time frame. So that's just kind of using the time frame correlation, guys, knowing your levels here, which ones are significant. I mean, Nick marks on his charts pretty good levels every single week. So if you guys are struggling with just marking down your levels and like knowing where to potentially look for reversals or look for the continuations, like just go to Nick's chart and just grab the levels off the chart. You know what I mean? He puts the prices very clearly on there. And yeah, if you play off those zones, the market will probably move, you know, more times than not in the direction of the trend, in the direction of the trade idea. And you guys will not only could you guys potentially make money, but more importantly, you guys can learn, you know, how to do this stuff on your own.
Yep. Yep. And it, like, honestly, you know, it's obviously different with every person. But I mean, there's been countless times where people have reached out to us who aren't members because all they needed was this analysis to help them kind of see things, you know, a little differently or to give them an edge in their own analysis, you know. So, you know, it varies from person to person. This may be all you need as a reference. You just may need a guide to jump on with us or, you know, just to go over things. and that may be it. But for others, it may be a little harder to grasp. You may need to go through more of a structured course, understanding each process, each step, and then you'll be able to analyze the same way that we do, pretty accurately. So, but yeah, just varies with everybody.
Yeah, and like you said, there's countless people literally learning from all the free shit that we're giving out there.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. That's totally acceptable. That's like the old way of learning, if you will,
Yeah,
right? Before all the communities, before all these mentors, if you will, it was just self-education, and that's great too.
yeah. I mean, the way that me and Nick looked at it is we get to meet a lot of people, we get to make some money, obviously with the services, but mainly we're just forming these connections, and ultimately your network is your net worth, guys. You're learning. We're constantly learning different ideas from different people. I mean, the intraday strategy literally was taught to me from one of our members. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He taught me the strategy. So, don't put it past yourself to keep an open mind, always stay active with the learning approach, and ultimately just come into the community with ready to learn something. There's people out here that are trying to help. There's obviously some people that have no idea what they're talking about, which is why I'm trying to, in the Telegram, add the Forex League member tag in the chat. So when people talk, you kind of know who's in the course, maybe who's more of a reputable voice and everything like that. But like Nick said, you can learn everything from the free stuff. If you want a more structured course, I mean, the course is swing trading, teaching TA, very basic into more advanced level topics. So if you feel like that's something you want, then go for that.
yeah, absolutely. And just to add one more thing too, we mentioned that we teach two different strategies. If you're in the lifetime membership, you will have the opportunity and access to both of them. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not just like, oh, you're only buying the course for one strategy. They kind of go, it's all included, and they kind of complement each other in a few ways. So
Yeah.
those who are in will understand that.
Yeah, there's a reason it's called the lifetime membership. So whenever we have updates, you guys will be included in the updates. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? People
we
purchased
grandfather everyone in.
people purchased last year or 2 years ago for $30 and they're getting the rapid signals today. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Yeah, we never
So
put it past you guys. If we reward you for being loyal members, whatever you paid for the lifetime membership, you have access to um, all future stuff and updates and whatever.
yeah.
So that's just the
Yeah.
most fair way to do it.
So if you're in the course, guys, um you should be getting access to the rapid signals, or you can be. You just have to go into the course at the top, and there's a link to join if you're a lifetime member. And a lot of people have been asking me about that. Um, so yeah, and if you're not, the free trial is going on this week. So get in on that 1 week for free. You'll get an idea of all the signals that are going out. And the reason, guys, we're giving so many is not for you to take every single trade. I mean, if you're taking more than a couple trades a day, then it's like, okay, this guy's got the lifetime sense. If you're taking more than a couple trades a day, I mean, obviously, we always advise never to overtrade. It's more for everyone has different things going on throughout the day. I mean, everyone's missing signals, everyone's got work, everyone's got family, got different things going on, and you're gonna you're not gonna be active looking at your phone all the time. You know what I mean? So if there's 20 trades going out a day, maybe there's 1 hour out of the day where you are looking at your notifications, and then you can log on and you can take a few trades. And if those trades hit, I mean, shit, it's a huge success.
Yeah,
So it's for the people that different times of the day, different time zones, everything like that. Obviously, me
and
and Nick
different.
are in the U.S. So when we were given the signals, it was mostly like U.S. times, when the signals were
It was
going
only
out.
really Forex at the time too, so that's what's different now. Those of you that like to trade a wide variety of assets, we listened to you guys, we heard you guys, we implemented it, we figured it out, and we're proud to offer it to you guys. I mean, yeah, it's not just Forex. It's just gold, there's crypto in there, indices,
Yep.
trying to cover it all.
Yep. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it up with a GBP JPY analysis here. So let's go over to this. I don't know if I had an idea. Yeah. So last week, this is actually super interesting, guys. So last week, GJ, we were waiting for it to come down to this level. GJ has been bullish for a long time, since November 2020, the whole year. GJ's been really bullish, guys, making new highs, weekly time frame, just going higher and higher. Coming down to the daily, again, very bullish structure, forming this high, boom, right here, this higher low, this high, this higher low. And then now we're just kind of pushing. You know, we did have this like little minor pullback. Now we have another minor pullback, but this thing is bullish. You know, don't get too confused. Like, the thing is pretty bullish until we start to break support, which is just forms this 154.900 level. You know, if that level starts to break, then we have an argument to start to short a bit. But like even more, this thing's been bullish as fuck. Coming down to the 4-hour here. Let's take a look. You know, what the hell is going on this? So 4-hour made a new high, pulled back, made this kind of higher low. But at the same time, I was looking to take longs on this, looking to take longs going into the week. This was the exact idea. If y'all were on last week's call, it was wait for price to come into our liquidity zone. Why is this there? I had this marked based on, let's come back up to this. Let's come up to here. So we're just zooming out. When in doubt, zoom it out. We've got this level. So I'm just going to mark this down. We've got this level right there. That was support, resistance, whatever. And then coming down to this time frame, we know that there's a lot of liquidity here. We know like this area has a ton of buyers and sellers. We broke above it. And that's why I was looking to take the position in this area. We also had the 38.2, which was up here. But to me, this was just the high probability area. And I did get in a little bit early. I actually could have, looking at it now, I could have actually tried to get in a bit lower, more at the bottom of this rectangle. But regardless, like last week, it did come down to that entry. Like, look at how it actually tested this previous high. This is like where we wanted to really get it. That previous high was tested with this. That would have been crazy getting in that low. But then price shot up. You know, we got into some profit. If we had entered down here, this would have been a fucking monster.
Yeah,
but
perfect.
yeah, so it came up. You know, at this point, maintaining the trade. We had news come out. Boom, price drops. Now we're right back where we are. And personally, I'm actually looking for this to go north again, even though there's a slight downtrend now in the 4-hour. We formed this low, this new low, this lower high, this low. I'm still not trying to short this until one of two things. Until we get this, or if price actually comes up here and rejects this for a third time, then I would potentially short it. So this is my idea on GJ. We're still biased trying to long this thing right now. And this is kind of opposite to every other idea I gave on the call. Every other idea would kind of back shorting GJ this week. So this is a little bit, you know, a little bit different. But we'll see how this closes. If this closes bullish, we have 5 minutes left. So coming down to the 30-minute, this looks pretty good. We had this little break, retest right there. That's exactly what we want to see.
This is also like a 4-hour double bottom. So if this does continue to rally more, it just confirms that, which is great.
Yeah, 4-hour double bottom. So yeah, this is the idea with GJ for the week. Stops below here. If it breaks this, I mean, it's going to be out anyway. Targets are going to be up at this 61.8 area, right up there. So that's pretty much it. So just to recap, bunch of ideas shared this week, guys. Literally, we've got GJ longs, and I'm gonna enter some of these trades and like monitor them throughout the week. We've got USEF longs right here. We've got EU shorts right there. NU shorts if it comes up a little bit higher. We've got GU, two scenarios, either shorting it up here or doing a little long. If it comes a little bit higher, you see this. And then UCAD is really very similar to USEF. Two scenarios on this. So all these are shared in the Telegram, guys. All the ideas are published. Telegram, Discord. You know, you can go in, read through the analysis that we posted. It's very in depth, especially Nick's. You know, goes through both scenarios, labels everything out. So throughout the week, take a look at that. We'll be back on Friday. Friday we'll be back on at 1 p.m. and we'll do our weekly analysis review. We'll cover all the analysis, exactly how it played out during the week. And yeah, last call. Rapid Signals, free trial, get in on it. Also, the funded trader program, 25% off right now. If you guys want to give it a challenge a try, feel free to. You know, it's never going to be 25% off again. Kind of just did it as a one-shot deal because a lot of things have transpired over the last month or so. So we figured give everyone in the community a chance to kind of just get in on it and give it a try. So that's 25% off. Both of these things will be ending tomorrow morning. Rapid Signals will start at 8 a.m. And yeah, any other updates, we'll just go ahead, post it in the chat for you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
There you go. So that wraps up the weekend. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Let's get it this week. Wish you guys all good luck. And we'll see you guys. Yeah, we'll see you in the community throughout the week and then especially on Friday. So take it easy, guys.
Yes, sir. Big things coming this week, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
Huge things.
No problem, Joseph. All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll talk later.
Peace.